Namaste, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. I wanted to make this video today because I wanted to talk about the different standards that we have in life, okay? Because if you're here, um, I'd like to think that you're into wanting to, growing, into evolving, into becoming the best version of yourself. And when we want to do that, when we want to become the best version of ourselves, there's a standard, right? There's a standard that we want to look up to or try to kind of match. And I want you to become aware of what that standard may be. Who is the standard from? Is it society? Are you for success? Or do you have a different standard? Sorry, just let me get this take there. Mirror. Apologies. Okay. Sorry, let me just going on live. Okay. So yeah, okay. Standards. What are the standards that you are setting in your life? For myself, I realized that sometimes my thinking can be very different and different in the sense of I think in a way where if I told people, they would be like, oh, that's not normal for one to be like, or people like that in society aren't like that. But that's the thing, I'm not trying to adhere to society standards or rules or metrics of success. I didn't realize that my standard is um simply um like saints and gurus and then an enlightened being. Let's just say that the standard that I have in my life for the way that I want to be and I think is the best way to be is that of an enlightened being. It is not someone famous like a celebrity. It is not um some other role model. It is simply an enlightened conscious being, right? So in that sense, when I think of life through that perspective, it does make me question lots of things that we just accept as normal. So, hi, welcome everybody. So one of the things that I want to talk about today is about jealousy. Okay, so I had a conversation. Thank you, Shan. I had a conversation with someone about jealousy. What is jealousy? So I'm talking about jealousy in general, but then also specifically in um, romantic relationships. Okay, we think that jealousy is important. That jealousy shows that you care. That it's normal. So like I said, I was having a conversation with someone. Oh, thank you, Shan. I was having a conversation with someone and they asked me, they're like, what do you think jealousy is? And I said, jealousy is the desire to have something, right? And it's because you feel you don't have something. So if I become jealous of another woman, let's say I'm jealous of her beauty, I would only be jealous of her beauty if I thought that if I had a lack thereof of beauty, right? Because if I was beautiful and I knew it and I felt it, then why would I be jealous of something if I already have that thing? If someone has a really nice car and I have a really nice car, I'm not gonna be jealous of that car. I'm like, oh, okay, I have a nice car, you have a nice car, whoa, we're winning, whatever. Um, you sound like you're from England too. I am from England. um, so does that make sense? We're only jealous or we do not possess. So when it comes to a romantic relationship, if you are with someone or you're speaking to someone or you're in a relationship with someone, why would you be jealous if they're talking to someone else or someone else who is beautiful is there in their presence and you see them and then you're like, I'm jealous kind of thing, and you just feel that jealousy spike up, or they're talking to someone you think they might find attractive. Why would you be jealous? Right? Like, of course, I get it. sometimes it happens. The reason I'm talking about this is because jealousy is something that I feel has always kind of ailed me in the past, because I grew up like always I guess being compared to other women, other kids, other people, and then that led to me comparing myself to other people, other women, especially when it came to looks, because I felt like I was socialized into a life where I was conditioned into thinking that that's where my power laid. So then I would compare myself to other women, and then I would get really upset if there was a woman that was more that I deemed to be more attractive than me near me. And I would feel really, really low about myself. But then I realized this recently. I was like, um like the whole, like, I would only feel that way if I didn't feel good already about myself, right? If you feel good about yourself, or you feel like you have something, you don't get jealous. So technically jealousy isn't something that should be normalized. Also, like I said, the standard for me in my life is of an enlightened being. Okay, I'm not just talking about the normal Bob, Joe, Sarah, Sonia in the street who's just like living life. No, it's like the height of awakened consciousness. That is what I aspire to be. So when I think about this, when I think of like a sage or a saint or a enlightened being, and I ask myself, would they get jealous? Do they feel things like jealousy? Do they feel things like desire? Probably not, right? They don't. They just feel pure bliss at all times. And if you feel like that's not the truth, or you feel like you don't understand what I'm saying with that, I think maybe go research and kind of see the kind of states that enlightened beings possess. Like, which state do they hide in at all times? Because what you'll find is that a lot of it, if you're enlightened, you feel bliss, right? You feel bliss, you feel peace, you feel content, you feel ecstasy. Jealousy is going to be the last on your list. Why are you going to feel jealous when you know you have everything? And the thing is, these things, like, oh, not looking as good as someone else, or not having, you deem yourself not so beautiful, or you think that you don't have the career that you want and someone else does, or you don't have the car or the house or the husband or the child or the family or the whatever it is, these things are just, they're not that important. You have to remember your truth. You have to remember why you're here. You have to remember that this whole world is Maya. Everything other than God is Maya. It's an illusion. It is not important. It's not, I'm not telling you to completely disregard it. All I'm saying is don't give it so much significance in life. Priya, my friend, told me I'm jealous. I'm not jealous. She took someone it hurt me. Okay, interesting. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You still feel these emotions because, but you remain sensitive. You have to let go of the ego, and it all plays off. Exactly. Exactly. I had a situation, right, where I was jealous. Okay. Um. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I was jealous, and then I could feel the jealousy. I became aware of the jealousy, and I was like, okay, cool. This is the process that I went through. Okay, I became aware of it, and then I was like, okay, cool, this is what I'm feeling. And then a thought came up, because I've been doing shadow work, right? I talk about shadow work a lot in some of my previous lives, which you can check out. Shadow work has completely changed my life. So a thought came up, like, Priya, you actually like this, because babe, you've been comparing yourself to other women your whole entire life. This has just been the standard, right? You're always wanting to be chosen because there was a dynamic set up in your childhood where you were not chosen by your father. So then you had this incessant need to be chosen by people in life, by especially men. So, but you like not being chosen. You like working hard for love. Because I'm very aware of the dynamic that I had played into. I don't know. So yeah, I was really aware of the dynamic that I had played into. So I became aware of that. And then what happened afterwards? Okay. Then afterwards I was thinking, okay, there's a state of like security that one should feel, because if I would only feel that way if I didn't feel secure in whatever the situation was. Um, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm going. Okay. Okay. Let me gather myself. Okay. Let me have a party. My period today, so I think that's contributing to this. I digress. So yeah, when you have something, you don't get jealous because you're like, okay, I got it, you know? You would only get that if you feel like you don't have something. Does that make sense? Let me know if it doesn't make sense. So it doesn't have to be like the standard normal thing. You can feel it, you can be conscious with it, and I think that's with everything in life, right? Any emotion that you feel, you just have to be conscious. You just have to remain aware of that thing, and you have to constantly I guess always understand that you're just awareness. You're not the observer, you're just observation. Because we say everything is consciousness, and then we have the word conscious as well, right? So conscious somewhere is to be like, we have unconscious and conscious, right? I'm talking in terms of like, oh, someone's passed out and someone's not passed out. So when someone is conscious, they're alive, right? They're aware that their body will react if you pinch them. They'll have some sort of response, right? So that is when you think of consciousness, it's okay, it's awareness, it's a sense of presence. And for example, in the Sikhism, they talk about Naam, right? And I watched this podcast that I really, really liked. I spoke about it, I think, the day before yesterday. The Amandeep yogi guy. I don't want to say guy. I feel like that's just disrespectful because he's a very enlightened being. You can kind of just sense it from him, from his energy. But yeah, he was saying that Naam is Naam is repeated all the time, right? So that is the name. That means name. But when we go into the actual meaning of it, as the Amandeep yogi explained, it is about presence. So in Sikhism, they talk a lot about the importance of being present at all times. And there's even there's a Hindu goddess. She's a goddess of like sensuality, darkness, desires, and she says that you could do anything. You could do the worst thing, but if you can remain conscious doing that thing, it isn't like the worst thing that you can do. For example, let's say, I don't want to use the example of like killing someone, but maybe something else. Maybe let's say you're about to manipulate someone, okay? Then if you can remain conscious during that, then it becomes a completely different thing to if you try to manipulate someone and you're not conscious. Let me just go through the comments here. Is really, do you feel complete silence in life? Because the silence, complete silence, always create hallucinations and fear of being alone. See, when you understand the reality of life, you can never be alone. How can something that is everything be alone? Just think about it. Who are you? You are everything in existence. Right? There is only God. There is nothing else. There's only oneness. So how can this oneness be alone when you are everything? When you feel this like insane connection to everything, like you feel this interconnectedness because you have a connection either to yourself or God, which both are interchangeable, they're synonymous to each other, then you will never feel alone. Feeling alone is a state of mind. It's because you lack a connection to yourself. That's where that happens. Hey Greg, I was talking to my mom about being aware of thoughts and emotions last night. She suffered from depression for years. I was trying to guide her on what presence really means. Hi, by the way. Hi. Hindu are crazy, they worship idols. Interesting. See, okay. Look, in life, infinite are the ways to his abode. Let me repeat that. Infinite are the ways to his abode. There are many, many paths to God. infinite other ways. And it can see, I used to be someone who used to be very anti-religion. I would probably have said the same thing. Oh my god, how can you get to God by worshipping idols? How can you do this? How can you get to go through this religion? God isn't someone you're meant to be scared of, this and this and this. But what I didn't realize is that someone's truth is someone's truth. Two truths can exist, right? Everybody lives in their own universe. Everybody lives in their own reality. And what you feel is true for you is true for you. For example, let's say me and you, right? What if, like, me and you, whoever's watching this, we go to a cafe. I may have the best time at the cafe. I'm enjoying life. I feel very blessed to be there. I'm having the best chai latte. I'm having an amazing, I don't know, cake. You know, I don't know, just whatever. I'm just enjoying life. I'm just being, okay? I'm just grateful to be there. You, on the other hand, may be sitting there and you are in the same cafe, you are seeing the same things, you are drinking the same chai latte, having the same cake, but you are having the worst time of your life because you think that it's not a nice cafe. Oh my god, my cat's here. Halloumi! Baby, how did you get in here? Come here. Come here. Aja. Come on. You want to say hello? Come here. Come on. Aja? Aja. Aja. Come on. I don't have food, baby. Come here. Okay. You want to see my cat? Don't scratch me. Don't scratch me. I took you outside. Okay. Halloumi? Say hello. Say hello. Okay. You want to see it? You want to see it? Okay. Sorry. No. No. Okay. So she's just gonna be here. Okay, so yeah, we could be having a completely different experience but be in the same place. But yeah. Okay. You know? So it's all about, so my Halloumi. No. Baby, come here. Okay, come down. Chalo. Okay. Sorry about that. Am I sorry about my cat intruding? I don't think so. So my truth would be the truth, right? Because I'm having a great experience. But then your truth would also be true. You're having a not so great experience in the same place. So does that make sense? So everybody's truth is the truth. Everybody's perspective. If I feel a certain way about something, that is valid. If you feel a certain way about something, that is also valid. You see, what was the original point of this? I can't remember. I got distracted. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying. Okay, yeah. So the worshipping idols. So Guru Nanak Ji said something, right? He said that anything done with pure commitment and devotion will lead you to God. If you are a dancer, if you do that with full commitment, right? You're fully devoted to that, you will attain God. Because what happens is when we are fully devoted to something, and we pour all of our being into that thing, then we lose a sense of I am. I mean, sorry, not sense of I am, like a sense of your ego, right? Because to gain a connection with God, you have to become one with God. And how do you become one with God? You become one with God by dissolving your ego. Because God is egoless. God doesn't have an ego. God doesn't have anything. God doesn't have emotions, doesn't have thoughts, doesn't have feelings, doesn't have an ego, doesn't have a personality, doesn't have a gender, doesn't have a sexual orientation, doesn't have hair, doesn't have eyes, doesn't have a beard, isn't white, doesn't live in the clouds, you know? Just the standard things. So that's what the point of just devoting yourself. So people who worship idols, if they do it and in their heart it gives them peace, it gives them faith, and it represents something. It's not necessarily the idol itself, it represents an energy that they are devoted to. Does that make sense? Like, for example, people go to, you know, when people die, you go to a cemetery, you go put flowers there, right? No one's really there. You're not, okay, you're not worshiping, but you're paying respect to something, because that cemetery, that grave now represents something to you. Does that make sense? Nice discussion. Love that. Nice. What to do? You know about Susmanadi? No, Susumanadi. Nadi? I don't know. Constantly people believe it's hard to activate. Okay, you're gonna have to tell me more about it. Um. Oh my god! Wow. If someone asks me how flowers bloom, I will tell him the story of your laughter. That is so cute. Cats give a high reflexes to human. Those people has cat, they're always happy. Cats are very healing. Ancient Egyptians used to give cats to I'm good, thank you. How are you? Yeah. Ancient Egyptians used to give cats to people who are unwell because cats they protect you in the spiritual realm and they take care of you, you know? Animals are very special. They're very especially ginger cats, apparently they're the most intuitive and psychic. So yeah, my cat we didn't actually buy her, she just turned up at our home. I was in India at this point, and then she turned up at in our garden, and she kind of just stayed. And then we had another cat that stayed. But you know, they say that I don't know if you guys believe in things like reincarnation or soul guides or like a soul tribe or anything like that. Maybe you do. Maybe that's why you're here. But yeah, I was watching this. I think I was reading something or watching something, and it was talking about how there was this lady and her I believe her granddad had died. And then soon after her granddad had died, she was really upset. And then a cat turned up. And the cat just stayed with her. And she could feel the energy of her granddad in the cat. And these things happen. These things are happening all the time. There are so many amazing mystical experiences that are constantly happening. They're not rare, they're happening, but it's about us, right? We just think it's a coincidence. And now I really want to get into the etymology of the word coincidence. Coincidence comes from coincide, and for something to coincide it means to come together, right? So how can this coming together be so random? Because the word coincidence suggests that there is a randomness connected to it. But when we look at one of the laws of the universe, there's a law of cause and effect. So according to that, nothing can be random, and in life nothing is random. I constantly make it a point to remind myself that every tiny little thing, the color of something, the way, I don't know, a piece of wood is like right in front of me, in front of the, like where I'm walking, or the people that I see, the faces that I see, the conversations that I have, even the fact that all of you here, every single one of you is here, you're watching me, you're listening to this conversation. There is no coincidence here, okay? You're meant to be here, you're meant to listen. And you know, it's about, okay, you were guided here for a reason, right? And it either resonates with you and you're like, yeah, I should be here, I like this conversation, or you think, no, there's a part of you that's like, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here. And ready to hear this. And then some of you recognize that it is something that you're ready to hear. So whenever you are going about your day, every moment is an extraordinary moment. Every moment has infinite intelligence behind it, okay? There's no random days. I don't know how in life one can get bored. It happens, but if we really pay attention, if we're really present every single day of every single moment, there should be no boredom. There should be no repetitiveness, because even, I mean, obviously there can be sometimes if you're one of those people who has the same routine week in week out, which is actually very damaging to you. It damages your neural pathways, because you create such a groove, such a pathway, that it can be very difficult to experience what is it, neuroplasticity, okay? Because neuroplasticity is where you can create new neural pathways, right? But if you just do the same thing over and over again, you're just going on that path, then it's difficult for you to create different experiences. For example, reading or learning something new expands your brain. You literally essentially have like an orgasm in your brain, because it's like, whoo! So any new experience is an amazing thing to have. And a lot of times we get stuck in the comfort zone, right? We don't want to push ourselves, we want to stay in the same thing, but then later we complain that our life just looks the same, nothing is happening, then we get bored, then we get distressed, and then we want to We want to take, I don't know, some sort of drug. We want to ease the pain with food. What is spirituality? Is there anything called spirituality? That's a really good question. So what I would say spirituality is I would say, first of all, let's take the word spiritual. We are all spiritual beings. It's not, oh, I'm spiritual because, I'm saying, it's a tapestry. It's my sister's tapestry. I'm not really sure what it is. Don't ask me who the artist is or what it is or what era it's from. I have no idea. Okay, but yeah, we were talking about, hi everybody, spiritual. Yeah, so everybody is a spiritual being, because for me, spirituality refers to, wait, can I just turn the light off, because it's actually bright and I don't like artificial light. It's kind of hot now too. Okay, so we are all spiritual beings, right? What does that mean? That means that we are not just this physical being. I'm not my body. This is not the truth of me. The truth of me is that I am an energetic being that is the product of consciousness wanting to experience itself. Consciousness had a desire. Okay, let's just say it was a very unified one type of thing. I don't even know how to explain it, because it's one of those things that you can't really explain with words. One thing you'll do well to remember in life is that language is incredibly limiting. It is very shallow. It doesn't do the metaphysical world or the quantum world or the energetic world or the spiritual world or the religious world any justice. You can't. For example, people find it very difficult to understand or conceptualize the idea of God. It's because God cannot be conceptualized. God is beyond conception. God is beyond thought, right? God is something to be experienced on the inside. It is something to be felt. It is not something to be spoken. Many people have had many mystical experiences, and when they want to explain that to someone, it gets lost in translation. I don't know if you guys have ever taken any sort of psychedelics or anything like that, but I did magic mushrooms once, right? And it was the most insane experience of my life. And if I tried to explain it to you, I just couldn't do it any justice. I can't. It's, for example, think of the term or the quote, a picture paints 1,000 words. Is that the quote? I think, it's a picture says so much so much more than words could, right? Words fail where a picture is. So imagine God's, like, an experience of God, or like a feeling. For example, think about, I don't know, the time that you, I don't know, witnessed a child being born, or someone getting married, or something really special happening in your life where you felt really, really good. If I asked you to explain that, could you really explain that to me? Could you explain to someone who's never tasted salt before what salt tastes like? Could you explain to someone who's blind what the color blue looks like? No, right? You just can't explain it. Hence the limited nature of language. So, yeah, the spiritual world is something to be felt. So everybody's a spiritual being. We all have energy. We can't, if I was to zoom in here into me, and I was to zoom in into this pen with a microscope, what you would see is energy. And they would be the same energy that I have. So me and the pen on a subatomic level are the same. Where did you get the have you met Jesus Christ? I have not. Have you? How much experience do you have spiritually? Because it's a common term, Sushmana, and the main energy path in spine. I've heard of Ida, calm, creative side, Pingala. I've heard of that too. I have heard of it actually. Active when both balance, Sushmana. Okay, nice. Right. Is it like a meeting of the feminine and the masculine aspect in you? And would you say that it's also something to do with hemi-syncing? Because one side of the brain is very left brain is masculine and the right side is very creative and feminine, right? So is that like the meeting of the two? They call it hemi-syncing. So is there something to do with that? You're very Indian down. I know, surprise. Mercury and Scorpio. I don't know. I can't remember if mine is. Thank you. You like the background. I'm grateful. Listen, I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, Shan. But yeah, that's what I would say spirituality is. And you know what the thing is, it has become a thing now. Like, oh, like I'm into spirituality and whatnot, and I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say in that sense. Maybe you'll understand. But yeah, it's become a thing because we have become so disconnected from our energy, like our basic form energy from nature, and we are so lost in this 3D world, or this physical reality, in this Maya, that we don't remember that we are energetic beings, right? There are so many things to distract you. All right, let me just shut this door. Someone's at my... Sorry. Someone's downstairs. I don't know who. But yeah, we've forgotten our connection to ourselves, and that is why we confusing. We feel incredibly disconnected. You know, you're more likely to have things like depression and anxiety nowadays because you just don't have that. We don't live in the way that we're meant to be living. We aren't connected to ourselves. We don't have a sense of community as such, as people used to. We're not connected to nature. We've forgotten about our connection, not just connection, but our true source of being. We are nature. We're not separate from nature. I mean, for example, things like trees. Trees regulate your nervous system. So if you go for a walk in the park, you're regulating your nervous system. That is why being in nature is such a great thing. But how often do you do that? You're told, don't go in the sun. The sun is bad for you. You know, I saw this quote somewhere that said, we're just complex plant. Like I was in a bad mood. I went out in the sun, and then I realized I'm just a complex plant. I mean, is that not the case? We are kind of like complex plants, you know. We need sun. There's something to, so it's what this goes into is quantum biophysics. It's not like biochemistry that runs you. So there's this really cool book. It's called The Mitochondriac Manifesto. Okay, it talks about the importance of mitochondria, the importance of magnetism, and of sunlight. And it says that how everybody has been lied to. You are told that you should eat certain foods and that will help. You are told that you should take multivitamins, which are a complete scam, by the way, and that they will help. You should follow this new diet. You should use this new exercise regime. But the real things that are going to help you, that are for free, no one tells you about, like the sunlight. You know, it's really interesting because I learned about that, and first of all, I'm a projector. So I don't know if you guys know about projectors, but projectors, in the human design, they tend to have less energy than their counterparts because we just have different, we don't have a defined sacral chakra, would you say? Yeah, defined sacral chakra, I think. So we don't produce energy as much as other human design individuals would. So technically, I'm not meant to have that much energy, but you know, I'm able to do things like wake up really early in the morning and not have to sleep so much and have energy, whereas like before I didn't used to have this much energy. There used to be like one thing I would do in the day. I would like, okay, all right, it's time to call it, you know, a day. I've done more than enough. But now it kind of feels like I can just keep going and going. I don't know if it's because I try to get as much sunlight as possible. When I am in the sunlight, I'll ask I'll tell my body, okay, absorb the vitamin D, absorb all the information from the sun. I try to always look towards the sun. I'm not allowed to look directly at the sun. I was told by someone to not, but in general, people are. But what I would say is watch Guru Pashupati for that, okay, if you want to learn more about the sun. Second of all, educate yourself. If anyone's interested, let me know, and then I'll add this really cool podcast that I listen to that speaks about the importance of the sun, staring at the sun, exposing all of your body to the sun, getting that energy, because it just rejuvenates you, you know. And having high energy is important in life because high energy allows you to feel things like abundance, you know, a state of abundance, of health, of success, of joy, of love. The lower your energy levels, the less life force you have. available to you, right? It's not moving in the way that it's meant to, and you feel low, you're more likely to be depressed and just, I guess, idle, and not doing much. इसके forefathers बिहार इंडिया से थे. अच्छा. Do I know the parallel universe? Yes, I do know about the parallel universe. There's this book. There's this really cool book that are you talking about sunbath? Yeah, sunbath is really, really important. Maya's built-in function given by God along with the challenges. If it is all part of his design, then why do we get stuck and keep complaining instead of learning from it? It's true, you know. Maya is obviously created by God for a reason, right? And it's like a fun game, okay? Thank you. It's a fun game. It's like a play. It's all God's play. It's okay, I'm gonna send you here and you're gonna forget, and then I want to see whether you can remember who you are. Not just remember who you are, but can you embody your truth? Maya is delusion. So in life, next, if we are talking, thank you, Live OXT. What is your truth? Who are you? Where are you from? What are you, just a human being? Are you just here? What's going to happen to you after you die? You know, that, so Maya is everything around you that you see. It's distracting you from who you truly are. I don't know if I explain that well. Let me find like a really good definition of it, because I want to make sure you get it. Okay. Define Maya, Athena. Okay. So Maya is a Sanskrit term often used in Hinduism, Buddhism, and other Indian philosophies. It means illusion or magic. It refers to the illusion or the veil that makes the material world appear real and separate from the ultimate reality, Brahman. It's what keeps humans attached to the transient physical world and unaware of their true spiritual nature. So I think this really rounds everything all together of what we were talking about, what spirituality is, right? Everybody is already spiritual. It's not like, oh, I have to wear a mala, I have to chant a few things, I have to dress like a hippie, I have to, I don't know, whatever you think that spiritual people do. This aesthetic that we associate with spiritual people, it's none of that. We're all spiritual beings. And the more connected you are to that, I guess the more focused you are and connecting to your energy, then you get deemed a spiritual person. But I mean, it's just a label, right? And God doesn't have labels. God doesn't have anything, really. So it just keeps you away. I find the more that you categorize yourself into things, okay, I'm part of this. I belong to, like, for example, if I were to do it, I'd be like, I'm a woman, you know, and I feel really strongly about that. I'm going to look really deeply into that. I'm going to make that part of my personality and my identity. I'm a Indian. I live in England. I'm going to make that. I'm a life coach, whatever, you know, and then I keep putting myself into these little boxes. What I'm doing is creating a separation in my spirit and my being. And it takes me away from wholeness, because those things aren't really the truth of me. That's just Maya, you know? It's meant to teach you something, so. Avidya, Maya, ignorance, tamas. Okay, nice. Thank you, Mr. I was gonna say Mr. T, but I don't know what that word is in Punjabi. I have to yet learn. Manav, what do I think about Brahmins? I don't know. I don't really know much about them. I don't really think of them. Okay, so yeah, money, in terms of parallel universes, I was gonna give you the book, right? I was gonna tell you what book. It's a good book, because just love a good book. Time for body. A really good book for this is Transurfing Reality by Vadim Zeland. It's honestly such a good book. Okay. कहाँ है तू? Parallel Universes of Self. Such a good book. Let me get up some notes, actually. Yeah, that's something you know, I love to do. I love to make notes when I'm reading, because it really helps you lock in what you're reading. Because I mean, the last thing you want to be doing is reading and not retaining any of that information, and not just retaining it, but actually embodying it and applying it into your life. Because you may have as well not read the book, you know? Why gain knowledge if you're not going to embody it? Knowledge itself is futile. Hola. मेरा अक्षय कुमार आ गया. Do you want to say hello?
I'm fine.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Denver. I love Jesus too. What do you do about Armed Forces War and Peace? I don't know. I don't do anything about them. I'm going to take IELTS, how I improve writing, write more. What is your thoughts? Or read on the age gap, 23, my wife is 43. So interesting. I don't, you know, look, what I would say, it's interesting you say this. It's something that I myself used to feel weirdly about. I guess I kind of had an affinity for younger men at times, you know? And I would feel really weird about it, because I felt like I had to feel weird about it. But if you two are happy, if you get on, it's about your soul connection. That is the most important thing. The soul has no age. So if you connect, you know, things will be different. There'll be different challenges, but that's like with any relationship, right? If you can be happy with it, and you can be, yeah, as long as you're cool with it, who cares? You're going to be living with that person. You know, so why would it matter if, anybody has an issue with it? Like, yeah. I think in this situation, yeah, you just have to accept it yourself. You can't look for validation or affirmation from other people, because look, what you can do is you'll ask me, Priya, what do you think about this? You know, and then you'll want me to say something. You'll want me to say it's okay. You can be with that person. You know, you should and I give you that validation. You're like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, I'm happy now, I'm really happy, Priya said yes, you know, I should be with that person. And then you ask someone else, maybe because you still feel insecure about it, because you're looking for validation outside of you. Only you can validate yourself. What are your values in life? Do you value other people's opinion, or do you value your own peace of mind and your own happiness and your own connection? Is this individual worth making the sacrifice for? Can you accept the situation? If you can, then stick with it. I think that's, you know, a rule of thumb in life. If there is a problem, you either accept it or you change it. Move on. Do something else. Why are you going to sit there and complain about it? Not that I'm saying that you are, but just in general, you know? Okay, wait, what could be demonic? Are we talking about bindis? Bindis being demonic? Wait, okay, let me just scroll up. Okay, Jesus loves me. Love that. What do you do about Armed Forces War and Peace? You ignore it. Don't do anything about it. Just focus on your own life. My sister, right, when I was in university, my sister was going through this phase where she was learning about Indian history. And of course, Indian history, like I'm sure other history around the world, was very upsetting to hear about. And she had this anger within her, right? She was learning to think about like colonialism and everything Britain did to India, and it was upsetting for her. It was triggering. And then there were other things that she would see, you know, in the world that's happening, war here, this, and she would post it on her Instagram, and she would why is this happening? Why is this happening? And you know, it's not that I don't care, but I can care and not worry. You know, that's kind of like what God does. God cares, but God is God's not worried. God's always in bliss. God's like, yeah, I care because I love you. And like, yeah, cool. But I'm not going to sit here and worry about you. Because if God sat and worried about every single thing that went wrong, God would go insane. So in life, you can care about something, but you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to sit there researching every little bad thing that is happening all around the world and then get yourself into this really bad state. How is that helping you? In fact, you are adding to the stresses of life. If you could just sit and think, okay, you know what? Let me focus on the areas where I have control, right? Like the locus of control. Is it within your control? What's in my control? What is in your control? Your perspective, your mindset, your life, your health, the people that you surround yourself with to an extent, you know? And if you can control these variables, then you can kind of determine a certain outcome. Like, okay, my life is going here because I have healthy people in my life. I have a very positive, optimistic mindset. I don't consume, because it is consuming. You are eating and consuming and absorbing everything you see, you hear, you listen to. And you have to be super, super careful about what you watch. I mean, sometimes I sit and think, how sometimes you sit down and you're eating and you have this habit of eating and watching something, and then you're like, let me quickly find a movie, let me quickly find something to watch whilst I'm eating, and you just put anything on. What you don't realize is that every little thing that you watch has such a huge effect on you, on your psyche. It is absorbed by your subconscious mind. It becomes a part of you. And if you knew that, I don't think you'd watch some of the things you watch. I don't think you'd listen to some of the things you listen to. If you want to be happier, healthier, more positive, then you have to consume that, right? They say you are what you eat, but you are what you consume in other areas, especially in terms of music. If you think of life is frequency and vibration. So the music that you listen to has an incredible, I can't even emphasize how deeply it affects you. It programs you. It changes how you feel, and how you feel determines your actions, and your actions determine your habits, and your habits determine how your day looks, and your day turns into years, into a lifetime. You see, everything is so connected. Tiny little choices that we make create huge ripples in our life. So you have to be like super careful with everything. I don't want you to be like I have to be stressed about everything, but I think be mindful. Begin to be mindful about the little things, and slowly, you'll live a life that is like consistently being super mindful and just super conscious about what you allow in your life. A Hollywood actor. Hollywood? Korean? Is that Korean? Came here thinking it was her. I don't know. I've never heard of Hollywood. Let me ask you, why do you wear a bindi? I know it means different things to different people. I was wondering what it means to you. Okay, I get everyone's... Okay, why do I wear a bindi? I just really like wearing it. And I actually read somewhere what it represents. I like the fact that it's on my third eye. I forgot what it means. It's something like it stimulates your third eye. Or when I wear it, I do feel like there's more of an awareness of my third eye. It looks good. I just really like wearing it. I grew up not really wearing one. And yeah, I guess I'm just learning to embrace my culture, That's it. That's why I like to wear it. But I can tell you why they actually used to wear it. I saw this really cool post on Instagram. It was talking about loads of different Indian, like feminine ways of beautifying oneself, and the deeper meanings that they had. What is the reason behind wearing a bindi? Okay, not a Hindi. All right. Okay. So wearing a bindi has both spiritual and cultural significance. The bindi is traditionally placed between the forehead, between the eyebrows. It corresponds to the Ajna chakra, which is the third eye in yogic and spiritual practices. This is associated with intuition, insight, and higher consciousness. Wearing a bindi is believed to stimulate this energy center, helping with focus, meditation, and spiritual awareness. It is a reminder to stay mindful and aware of one's thoughts and actions. How cool is that? I just find that so incredibly fascinating and telling of I guess Hindu culture, Indian culture, and how I guess tied they were in with their spirituality to have this sort of awareness. But you know what? I feel that if you look into most things, there's probably some sort of significance there for that thing, you know? It's really cool. It's like a rabbit hole. Okay. Okay, just want to let you know Jesus does love you. Thank you, Denver. Thank you for reminding me. Jesus loves you too. Jesus loves all of us, I'm sure. I'm wondering about the green dot. It's not green, it's blue. Does it look green? What is your thoughts on Edgar? Oh, okay, I think I answered that. Riddle me, what sits in the corner but travels? Oh God, riddles. Okay, let's go. What sits in the corner but travels the world? I give you the answer in 10 minutes unless someone gets it. What sits? Has anyone gotten this yet? What sits in the corner? Can you answer if you know? I'm Japanese, so I'm not familiar with the culture. Appreciate. Hello, Bridget. Hi, Suki. Wait, so you don't have to be married to put the dot on your head? I thought you had to be married. You put the dot on your head. No, you don't have to be married. No, man, they wear it to look more pretty. You look beautiful, men are fucking here like me. I'm not sure, but all the Indian people I know are the nicest, kindest people I've ever met. That's really sweet. People are great, you know. What religion am I preaching? I'm not really preaching any religion, to be honest. Hi, I'm godly. Hi, Jason. Okay, Tamil. Collywood is Tamil cinema. I did not know that. That's beautiful. Thanks for explaining the Bindi. No worries, Greg. Thank you for your inquisitiveness and your curiosity. And I guess giving me the opportunity to explain it and read back upon it. Okay, next you didn't judge me. What's TCM? I'm not sure. You're gonna have to because I thought you were asking about. Okay, do I speak Russia? Is Russia a language? I don't know. I do not speak Russian. Do I look like I do? I mean, I guess that's quite shallow, isn't it? One could. Oh, okay, traditional Chinese medicine. Heard you are a dual sim. Wait, what was the question? The overlap between I don't know much about the overlap of traditional Chinese medicine and Hindu culture, but what I can say is that from the little information that I do kind of know about these things is that, you know, these ancient schools of thought, let's put it that way, schools of thought or yeah, I'll just call it that. They had so much knowledge and there's so much truth to it all. I think, you know, it's a bit like Osho said in his book about religion. It's about language. For example, he said that, you know, Hinduism, Christianity, Sikhism, Islam, Judaism, they were all created at a certain time in history. And the reason they feel different is because the language used was different. It was different because the culture was different, the people were different, the level of consciousness was different. So it's almost like that. It's like there may be an overlap in the traditional Chinese medicine and Hindu culture because there's a difference in language, right? There's just a different way of expressing things. For example, there are many stories in history at times, right? Like myths that are similar around the world, but they usually, like, the people in the myth may have a different name. There may be like some sort of like differences in the story itself, but the what the story is trying to explain, like the moral of the story, tends to be the same. Does that make sense? Chakra, all powerful needle points. You know, it's so interesting that you're talking about this. I have a sister that looks like a Xerox copy of you. Me? How do you know? I do. I have a twin sister. What is your content on social media? On social media, my content, I mean, I wouldn't really know how to describe it in one word. I mean, maybe you're not asking for it in one word. It would be expanding your consciousness. That's what I would say. If I could sum it up, just expanding your consciousness, helping you think differently. Is it me, or are you moving in a slow motion like they do to the actress? Like, you know what? Let me just why did I do this? Are we back? Am I still frozen? Sorry, I probably should have connected it to let me know. Someone let me know if you can see me and hear me, because I just turned the Wi-Fi off. It's okay now. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, I forgot that I'm using my other phone, so it doesn't actually have any data, because I find when I was watching one of my lives back, it was coming out kind of lagged. But I'm happy it's okay now. Thank you. And yeah, it's interesting, adaptive healing medicine, that you speak about these points, because recently I was thinking of getting acupuncture, because I don't want to like adhere to this identity, but I'm prone to getting colds and a runny nose and sneezing. And I just thought maybe acupuncture will help with that, because I don't know what will. To be honest, I probably should have thought, okay, there's an issue, Priya, you need to try to figure it out, because I don't like medicine. Are you an artist because you look super artistic? Yeah. What would you define as artistic? Like drawing? Because I guess any sort of creation is art, right? So in that case, aren't we all? Sorry, yeah, I'm godly. Are you moving in sort I'm sorry. No, it's because I had turned off my Wi-Fi, and then I realized that you had no data, right? So I had to quickly turn it back on. Also, it is a oh, that's what acupuncture is for. Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Acupuncture is for those problems. Is that what you're saying? It is also a whole system of medicine, exercise, diet, etc. It's not just needles. Okay, interesting. So I should definitely probably get it. Will it fix me? Will I be okay? But involves the inner power of the body. Okay. Quite. Thank you. Yeah, because it's just something that has been ailing me for a while now, and I just want to get rid of it. It's are you Orthodox? Am I Orthodox? No. Where am I from, Priya? I am from... Where are any of us from, right? I tried acupuncture and it did nothing for me, but my mom tried it and sorted her back issues out. Okay, interesting. What did you try it for, Greg? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out like what it is, what the issue is. I did search, because I love to do this thing where I any issue, I always search what the emotional / spiritual reason for that ailment, that symptom could be, because I got the inspiration from Louise Hay. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of Louise Hay, but Louise Hay, if you've just started on your like growth, maybe healing journey, she is amazing. She, I think, cured her cancer. She's just super honest, super authentic, super vulnerable. You can't help but just want to listen to her more and more. And she spoke about this, she spoke a lot about there's a strong connection between any kind of dis-ease that you get, any sort of problem with your health that you get, and the emotional slash spiritual reason for that. And the thing is, that it may sound crazy. That's only if you think in a very scientific way. What you need to understand is science is incredibly limiting, okay? Science, in terms of modern medicine looks at you in a very almost like systemic way. Like, okay, it's the body. and then they think that the body and then the mind and the soul are different, but everything is interlinked, right? The mind affects the body and the body affects the mind, and then the soul is in there to have an effect. So in medicine, they don't heal you, they cure you, because what they do is they look at the symptoms and they eradicate the symptoms. However, in the anatomy of spirit, one thing she says in there, which love, the author, she says healing is when you go in and you look at the emotional and spiritual cause for this problem, this health problem that you are experiencing, and then you work on that, right? Because look, let's say I have depression. I used to have depression, right? And then so I did go to the doctor and they said, oh, we can put you on meds. But I thought, okay, how will meds change my thoughts? How can medication change my perspective on life? How can it change my mindset? The only thing that it's going to do is create some sort of hindrance, maybe slow down my thoughts, but that's not helping anything. I don't want to be like a zombie. And also, don't forget, the body is a system. It works very well together. It has high levels of intelligence. So when I put something into one part of the system, then it has a knock-on effect on the whole system, right? This is why side effects are so common, yet we overlook them. There was I think I mentioned this before as well. There was someone who was taking antidepressants, and I looked at the side effects, and it was like, can be suicidal, severe anxiety, this, and I was thinking, I'm sorry, what? How crazy? Are you a Scorpio? I'm an Aquarius, and they're not very compatible. I am a Scorpio, yeah. When man names himself God, are you a spiritual person? We're all spiritual beings, we're all spiritual beings having a spiritual experience. Am I connected to my spiritual side, like my energy? Like, am I aware of that? Yes, I guess you could say so. When I learned about that, about a life beyond Maya, it was just incredibly fascinating, and it honestly just blew my mind, because that's what happens, right? It's like an awakening almost. When I guess that's what a spiritual awakening is. You just awaken to the truth of who you are, and then life just seems more magical and full of possibilities where before it didn't. And then you can never go back, because once you know something, there's no going back. It takes a lot of effort to push yourself back into ignorance. Oh, you're depressed. Here's a pill for that, right? Oh my lord. Okay, here's a pill. Here, you're anxious. Here's a pill for that. Like I said, it's not even to do with biochemistry. There's this lady that I did. I was doing this course. What was it called? It was How to Be Calm. It was a Mind Valley, and she was saying that she was a doctor, and she said that depression doesn't even have anything to do with your biochemistry. It's just something you're being told. What I always say as a rule of thumb for my life, I just don't like to believe anything that is mainstream information, especially in things like science. For example, science, the things in science are not definite, right? They're not like, this is it, this is the truth, because the truth can always change. We can always find out more information, and things can be different. They used to think that the earth was at the center of the universe, right? But it's not. So that changed. But at one point, it was considered the truth. It was considered a fact. You see, so there are always new discoveries happening in science. So unless you're going into that and you're keeping up with all of these things, then I think it's it's important to keep up with these things. Earth is flat. Have you not heard? See, I get it. I think the whole Earth is flat thing, I completely get. You know why? Because we live in a simulation. So technically, This world is, wait, what's that word? Let me find the word. It's a really cool word. Oh God, I deleted Instagram. Yeah, so
when I get bored, I like to look into where the government is spending money so I can find the publicly traded companies that are
oh my God, it's really low down on my TikTok. If you don't follow me on TikTok, follow me on TikTok. Because if you like the things that I'm talking about here, then I have them there, and my Instagram. But like I said, I'm not actually active on there right now. I'm just taking a break. Because it's just something that I felt that I wanted. I don't like the whole like being stuck to my phone all the time. Kind of thing, you know. So sorry, let me just find, oh gosh, it's okay. It's okay, it's, if you are aware of gaming, it's where, I don't, or you've played a game, right? It's about, you know, when I used to play what's his name, Sonic the Hedgehog, a video game. I'm Sonic, you know, okay, I'm not Sonic, but like I'm playing Sonic, and Sonic is walking, and then everything is being created at that time, you know. There's a word for that, but that's what life is like, right? It's just being created. Like right now for me, nothing outside of my room exists. And I think to completely understand this, take your time, research quantum physics, and then you'll kind of get it. Because observation is the observer effect, right? Did a tree really fall if no one witnessed it? What is the tattoo on your sternum? It says Nirpa, which means fearless in Gurmukhi. You love Sonic. Who doesn't love Sonic? I'm gonna have to go soon, guys. I have somewhere to be. I love the flat earthers. They are precious. It is a very big business to be able to sell people happy pills. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? That's why they don't want you to know, for example, how important the sun is, because you can't sell the sun. You can't own the sun. You know, you can't make people pay to be in the sun. I mean, I guess then, like, if you really think about it in like a very complicated way, they kind of do, because I don't know. That's okay. We won't go into that. But yeah, the pharmaceutical industry is a very big industry that controls people. I mean, you know, it just didn't make sense to me, because I just think this is so unnatural. I don't know, like, how can we accept this? How can a pill just help you be better and like improve something? It's so unnatural. I don't know what's in it. I don't know where it came from. I don't know what energy it was made with. I don't know anything about it. Okay, any of the ingredients, I don't look at them. There are so many side effects. Why would I take this thing? Why would I take it? Why would anyone take it? I can't. Wait, well, how am I being rude? Thanks, but maybe give a hope. It's okay if they think. What? I'm really interested. Why am I being rude? Definitely, we're on a we are in a simulator, right? It's kind of cool when we think about it in that way. But yeah, I'm getting like late. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go because I have somewhere to be now. But thank you for watching. I hope you took something worthwhile. If you didn't, then I guess not much I can do about that, right? I know, with Ash. I'm sorry. I have somewhere to be. Then I'll ping it over to you. Yeah, let me know. Oh, that's so cool. Adaptive healing medicine. What do you think I need? I'm a natural healer. I tell people this is the work that is required to heal yourself. Is it like you can just see them and you know what they need? Or, like, do they have to talk to you or something? Let me know if you've gone, because then I'll go. Return. Oh, sorry. I know. I said I was gonna go. I'm sorry. I'm playing with you. Okay. I love you. Bye-bye.